Hello everyone. This will be my last recording for Call of Duty. There are several reasons for this, and two of those will be changes in my life, and also because I think Call of Duty Warzone is going to be a waste of my time from here on out. I saw an article recently that Call of Duty Call of Duty slash Call of Duty Warzone will not fit on a 250 gigabyte solid state drive anymore. That's ridiculous. For the people who aren't tech savvy, I think it's called data retention. Somebody could double check me, but solid state drives should never be filled past 10% of their total capacity. So for 1 terabyte, that means you should have 100 gigabytes of free space. If you go past that, the solid state drive's lifespan will decrease at a faster rate than normal. So yeah, if you have to go all the way up to a 500 gigabyte or even a 1 terabyte solid state drive to play Warzone, screw that. What Warzone needs to do, or at least the devs for Warzone need to do, is they need to save some elements and just scrap it. Do this whole thing over from scratch. Because that's the only way that this is going to survive if they plan to continue using this as the Warzone for Cold War. The devs did say that it would be the Warzone for Cold War as well. This is not going to survive at this going rate. Okay? The updates are too large. People are not going to have space for their other games. If they don't have space for their other games, they're going to uninstall Warzone because it's the biggest one. So yeah. The other thing we need to talk about is a change to my Google Documents. You'll notice that I have deleted all the numbers next to the builds, and I've only listed the attachments used. It's because I've added this right here. All builds listed will be using true game data for the full stats. Another thing too I've done is I've completely changed it so that almost all of my ranged builds are using aim stabilization or aim stability. You'll even see that I've mentioned that here in the SPR slide. In my prior recordings, I made a mistake. I said that certain underbarrel grips affect the horizontal recoil control as well as the vertical. Even though I was incorrect on a technical level, I was on the right path. See, prior to tests, I noticed that, prior to Exclusive Ace and the others testing it, I noticed that aim stability had an effect on the side-to-side. What I didn't know is that aim stability does not affect the recoil itself. It affects the pattern of it. That's where the difference is. Based on Exclusive Ace's tests and some others, it was determined that aim stability eliminates the RNG to the recoil. That means it's no longer random. So yes, now I'm putting aim stability in all the builds that I can. So yeah, you can see that that's why I have that mentioned. Before we get into the rest of the stuff, let me real quickly cover this, and I'll reflect this in the Google data or Google document later. I am still very skeptical of true game data. This is for a couple of reasons, but perhaps the two main ones are, one, they don't list their test methods, and two, there's a huge difference between true game data, Exclusive Ace, and a couple of others. It could be because of different test methods. Exclusive Ace does test at 60 frames per second, and true game data appears to go over that. I've said this in prior recording, but I'll remind people for those who haven't watched it. I did make a comparison of this difference in FPS testing to Resident Evil. If you look at Resident Evil speed runs, at least for PC, and I forget which Resident Evil is, by the way, but in one of the Resident Evils, you'll notice that the PC players are using the knife, not a gun. It's because at a higher FPS, the knife does more damage than any gun can. The damage is tied to the FPS on the knife in one or multiple Resident Evil titles. I think that is what's going on here. It's something similar to Resident Evil. In such the fact that we're going to be seeing different numbers because maybe console has an advantage because of lower FPS or vice versa. It's impossible for me to tell. So with true game data out of the way, I do want to go ahead and talk about the other stuff now. You will notice that I have added one slide to the AR range. I took the time out of my day to put these 3 slides together. I did this for a reason. It's because people are still telling me that the AK has too much recoil. Well, guess what? The Romanian barrel happens to be fairly close to the Grau's Archangel recoil. Look at the side-by-side comparison. And this is before the field LMG stock is applied. Because look, I changed my AK build to include the field LMG stock, which is aim stability. So this randomness will be gone. Okay? So look how close they are to each other. As a matter of fact, they actually almost look the same without any overlap. Now, the Colossus for the Odin, that's a different story. You can see that it's significantly higher than the Archangel. But this is before a Ranger foregrip, keep in mind. So, I just want to put that to rest. I am really tired of people telling me the AK has too much recoil. It does not. This is easy. Okay, and you probably saw this at the start because I was using this as an example. But I have added the SPR to the Google Documents. I have a build for it in the additional Warzone document, which I don't have pulled up right now. But I have added it there for a reason. I've mentioned this before in prior recordings, but I'll repeat it for people who have missed out on it. In my personal opinion, the bolt-action guns are for people with aim. If you do not have aim, then you should be using the Rytec AMR or the Dragunov. The Rytec AMR and the Dragunov are both semi-autos, so they have an easier time compensating for miss. It also doesn't require you to be as on point as a bolt action. The Dragunov only needs 2 shots to the upper torso or head for a knock, even with 3 armor plates. The Rytec AMR is 1 shot to the head or 3 to the torso. Those 2 guns are going to be far more versatile than your bolt actions, because they will work with more people that just don't have the aim. However, I will say that the SPR is going to be a better option than some other of the guns like the car or quite possibly the AX50. I still have to do some comparisons, but that'll be for another day. Let me go ahead and just real quickly talk about its build. I should have pulled that up, shouldn't I? Hold on. Here we go. Okay. So here it is. This is with the 338 Lapua because you want to make sure that you're getting as much range as possible. I've done it with the XRK 28 Dragoon, Soul Zero SPR 28mm, ZLR SPR Overseer, and Focus. The SPR Overseer is recoil control and aim stability. This is an extremely important attachment for this particular rifle. The reason I've chosen the Dragoon Barrel is because I know how much people have a hard-on for suppressors. This makes it so you don't need 2 attachments to achieve the objective. The Dragoon Barrel is still pretty good range. It won't be as much as the 26-inch barrel, but that's fine. You can make up for it with a 338 Lapua. If you absolutely need to go to long range, though, you can change it out so that you're using the 26-inch barrel. But this is going to be the build I will normally recommend. So yeah, that's that. Let's go and talk about the AS VAL. Okay, so I think the AS VAL is fine for multiplayer, but not for Warzone. While it is certainly possible for guns to, be fine in Warzone, even in quads with a 30-round magazine, that's highly dependent on the other stats. The AK has very good bullet velocity and recoil control, so that will work on a 30-round magazine in Warzone. But the AS VAL, I don't see it happening because while it does have the upgrade to a 30-round magazine, its bigger problem is the lower range and the slow bullet velocity. Its bullet velocity is about what the Rytec AMR is, and that's not too great. You can make it work, sure, but at that going rate, you might as well get a gun that's more specialized towards that, like the Rytec. Even though the Rytec has a very slow bullet velocity, the one good thing about it is it has stupid range and it kills very quickly. As a matter of fact, its time to kill is 600 milliseconds. To put that in perspective, a kilo's time to kill is 616 milliseconds. So yes, the Rytec AMR can kill very quickly if you can make that slow bullet velocity work. So yeah, I don't see a point in the AS VAL as the short version. That's really all I can talk about, though, in terms of Warzone. Hopefully that helps. Thanks for listening.